And we are continuing to give you the first alert to all of the latest information as Hurricane Helene continues to strengthen in the Gulf of Mexico. I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday so far, but we do want to give you an update as our first alert weather days do continue for Thursday afternoon and even as we go into the early portions of our Friday morning. The good news is that this system will be a very quick mover, but we still have the potential for our greatest wind and rain risk, especially as we go into overnight Thursday and even early in the morning on Friday. But right now, let's take a look at what those impacts are, because very similar to what we have seen across some of our southern zones this season, we are still tracking coastal impacts and gusty winds as our primary hazards. We do want to give you the first alert as storm surge will be very minimal, but we still carry the potential of 1 to 3 feet of inundation above normally dry ground, especially along the immediate coastline. That's still a moderate risk, and the same there with gusty winds as a good swath of the low country does carry the potential to see wind gusts in excess of 40 miles per hour. So with the rainfall that we are anticipating, not necessarily in terms of flooding, we still carry the potential to see 1 to 3 inches of rain. So the flooding risk is low, but also the severe parameters are still on the low to moderate side, as we do carry the potential of seeing a couple of embedded tornadoes, especially with those bands moving through in the Thursday night and early Friday morning time frames. Let's take a look at the latest advisory coming in at 11 o'clock. Now we do have winds sustained at 80 miles per hour. So technically, this is a Category 1 hurricane, and we'll notice over the next day or two really moving over the warm Gulf waters where we do have that deeper water as well. So that will allow for a period of strengthening, likely up towards a major hurricane status as it moves into the Big Bend of Florida. Notice this is coincident with winds that are sustained around 125 miles per hour, and we could easily see gusts in northern Florida that are slightly higher than that. But what I do want to pay attention to, while we're not into the cone of uncertainty, we still will see widespread impacts even away from the center of circulation. That area will be moving across North Georgia and still as a high-end tropical storm, just based off of how fast the storm will be moving by tomorrow and Friday. So remember, a good tool to use will be the Live 5 First Alert weather app, and we will have more information more often as we get into our Thursday and Friday. Right now, let's take a look outside over West Ashley ahead of this system. It is still a very hot afternoon. Current temperatures are into the mid to upper 80s across the board. And we'll notice with plenty of sunlight this afternoon, we're going to keep those temperatures in the upper 80s to lower 90s. But take a look here at our live radar, just 1 or 2 dots of rain moving across Williamsburg into Clarendon and Orangeburg counties. But the rest of us should be predominantly dry as we start to build in some more of that moisture. There's the cold front just off to our west, and that will bring us some rain ahead of this system, namely throughout Thursday morning and afternoon. But the bulk of that activity, well, we are going to be tracking, especially for Thursday night and into the first part of your Friday morning. These bands are the ones that we're paying close attention to in terms of an isolated risk of tornadoes, and that's where our winds could be on the gustier side. Those will be between 40 and possibly upwards to 50 miles per hour. So that's why we do have first alert weather days that are going into effect on Thursday evening. That will continue for Thursday night and into Friday morning.